What the heck happened to Mike Swick?
My little piece of the pie for the MMA community.
It was the worst thing to happen to the UFC. Congratulations.
Once a fierce contender in the UFC, known for his lightning-fast knockouts and intensity in the Octagon,
Saunders with a big finish, and it is all over!
Swick seemed unstoppable.
I fight for the title. I want to fight top guys: Matt Hughes, George St. Pierre.
Until he disappeared from the MMA scene. Fans have been wondering where he went, why he left the sport, and what he's been doing since. Today, we will go into the details of Swick's incredible journey, his rise to fame, the battles he faced both in and out of the cage, and the toughest fight of his life. This is the untold story of Mike Swick. So let's take it all the way back to where it all began. Growing up in the heart of Texas, Mike was like any other kid. But there was one big difference. He was drawn to fighting from an early age. While most kids were out playing regular sports, Mike was in the dojo mastering the art of Taekwondo. He found his first taste of discipline and control through martial arts. For Mike, fighting wasn't about violence. It was about mastering his mind and body. As a teenager, Swick fell in love with the world of martial arts. Taekwondo laid the foundation, but Swick wasn't the kind of guy to stop there. He was always seeking more. During this period, Mike got introduced to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai, two disciplines that would forever change his life. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu taught him the ground game, how to submit opponents, control them, and outthink them on the mat. Muay Thai, on the other hand, brought out his love for striking, the power of knees, elbows, and those lightning-quick punches. It was like discovering the next level of his potential. These early years were critical. They didn't just build Mike Swick, the martial artist. They built Mike Swick, the future UFC star. He knew he wanted to compete at the highest level. The problem? At the time, MMA was still a young sport, and the opportunities to make it big were slim. But Mike wasn't the kind of guy to let that stop him. He knew that if he wanted to make his mark, he had to go all in. That decision would lead him to one of the most important moves of his life: heading to California and joining the American Kickboxing Academy in San Jose. AKA was a hotbed for future MMA champions, and Swick knew it. There, he would train alongside some of the best fighters in the world, sharpening his skills and getting ready for the battles ahead. Entry into the UFC. Mike Swick's big break came in 2005 with the very first season of The Ultimate Fighter. Now, we all know what TUF did for the sport. This reality show is a showcase for talent, and it gave the world fighters who would become legends. For Mike Swick, this was the chance he had been waiting for. Inside that house, it wasn't just about fighting. It was about living with your competitors, dealing with the mental and emotional stress, and still finding a way to dominate in the cage. And Mike did exactly that. With rapid finishes, he earned the nickname Quick, a fitting title for a guy who didn't like to waste time in the cage. Swick quickly gained a reputation for his fast-paced fighting style. His performance on The Ultimate Fighter was enough to earn him a contract with the UFC, and from there, Swick's star began to rise. This wasn't just a reality TV show star, this was a legitimate threat in the UFC's middleweight division. Once in the UFC, Mike Swick wasted no time proving that he belonged there. His fight against Alex Schonauer was a clinic in speed and power, and his quick submission win over Gideon Ray showed that his skills were well-rounded. Swick's reputation as a dangerous middleweight was solidified, but even though he was doing well at 185 pounds, Swick felt like there was something holding him back. For fighters, weight classes are everything, and for Swick, dropping to welterweight felt like the right move. At 170 pounds, he believed he could be faster, more explosive, and ultimately more dominant. So after a successful run at middleweight, Swick made the decision to cut down, and man did it pay off. Swick made a splash in the welterweight division. His fight against Marcus Davis was an all-out war, a back-and-forth battle that showcased Swick's versatility. But it wasn't just the wins that mattered, it was how he was winning. Swick's speed, his striking precision, and his ability to control the fight made him a top contender. But the UFC is no easy path to glory. Swick's journey to a title shot wouldn't be without its challenges. In 2009, he faced Dan Hardy for the #1 contender spot. This was a fight that would decide who would face George St. Pierre, the reigning welterweight champion. Swick gave it everything he had, but it wasn't meant to be. Hardy took the win, and Swick's dream of fighting for the title slipped away. For a fighter, setbacks are just a part of the game, but for Mike Swick, the challenges were piling up. After his loss to Hardy, injuries began to take a toll on his body. MMA is brutal, and the constant training, sparring, and fighting were wearing him down. It's easy to see highlights of a fighter's career, the knockouts, the victories, but behind the scenes, the toll it takes is immense. But it wasn't just the physical injuries. In 2010, Swick was diagnosed with a condition that no fighter wants to hear: achalasia, a rare esophageal disorder. Achalasia made it nearly impossible for Swick to swallow food or drink properly. Imagine trying to prepare for a fight while struggling to eat, drink, and maintain weight. It was a nightmare. Achalasia directly impacted his ability to train and perform. Fighters rely on their bodies to function at their peak, and when you can't fuel your body, everything suffers. Swick tried to push through, but the condition was affecting his performance. Losses started piling up, including tough defeats to Paulo Thiago and DeMarcus Johnson. Swick's once promising career was being derailed by something entirely out of his control. In 2015, Mike Swick fought his last UFC fight. It was against Alex Garcia, and while Swick put up a tough battle, he came up short. After that fight, Swick made the difficult decision to step away from professional fighting. The achalasia had taken too much from him, and with the mounting injuries, Swick knew it was time to move on. It was a bittersweet moment for fans. Swick had given them so many great moments inside the Octagon, but every fighter's career has an end. For Mike, this wasn't the end of his story, just the end of one chapter. And for someone with Mike Swick's drive, retirement didn't mean slowing down. It meant shifting his focus to something new, something just as important. After retiring from the UFC, Mike Swick set his sights on a new goal. In 2014, before his final UFC fight, he founded AKA Thailand in Phuket. Now, for those who don't know, Thailand is a mecca for martial arts, particularly Muay Thai. But Swick wanted to bring something more. He wanted to create a world-class MMA training facility that could serve both pros and amateurs alike. AKA Thailand was born out of that vision, and quickly it became one of the premier training destinations for fighters from all over the world.
I said, why not make a gym for everybody? Everybody has an inner alpha they want to let out, and I understood that.
AKA Thailand became a sanctuary for fighters looking to sharpen their skills. In this gym, Swick was actively involved in training fighters, mentoring them, and helping them develop into complete martial artists. The gym's reputation grew, and so did Swick's influence. But running a gym isn't just about training fighters. It's about building a community, and that's exactly what Swick did. He built a place where fighters of all levels could come, train, and grow, not just as athletes, but as people. Mike became a mentor, a leader, and a role model for fighters all over the world. And for a while, it seemed like everything was going well for Swick. But as we know, life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges at us. Cancer diagnosis. In 2022, the MMA world was hit with some devastating news. Mike Swick announced that he had been diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoblastic lymphoma. It was a shocking and emotional moment. Swick, the fighter we had watched dominate in the cage, was now facing the biggest fight of his life, one that had nothing to do with MMA.
Like when he told me that I had leukemia, stage 4 lymphoblastic T-cell leukemia, never looked it up.
Cancer is a word no one ever wants to hear, and for someone like Swick, who had spent his entire life as a fighter, this diagnosis felt like a cruel twist of fate. Stage 4 meant the cancer had spread, and the road ahead would be filled with grueling treatments, painful procedures, and an uncertain future. But if there's one thing we know about Mike Swick, it's that he doesn't back down from a fight. Not now, not ever. Fighting cancer is a different kind of battle. It's not like preparing for a UFC fight. You can't train for it, you can't study tape. It is a fight that happens inside your own body, and the only option is to endure. Swick's treatments were intense. Chemotherapy took a brutal toll on his body, leaving him weak, sick, and drained of energy. But through it all, Swick kept his fans updated, sharing the raw, unfiltered reality of what he was going through. He didn't sugarcoat it. This was the hardest thing he had ever faced. The MMA community rallied behind Swick in an incredible way. Fighters, fans, and colleagues from all corners of the world sent messages of support. Swick had always been a fan favorite, and now in the fight for his life, that support was stronger than ever. And while the physical battle was tough, it was the emotional and mental toll that tested him the most. For someone who had spent his entire life as a warrior, it is hard to accept that your body is failing you. But Mike Swick didn't give up. He fought the only way he knew how, with everything he had. As of October 2023, Mike Swick's health has taken a positive turn. After months of intense treatments, there is hope that he has beaten the disease. Being in remission is a huge victory, but for Swick, the fight doesn't end here. Recovery is a lifelong process, and Swick knows that he has to stay vigilant. He continues to undergo regular checkups and remains proactive about his health, but he is also using this experience to grow in ways that he never expected. Swick's battle with cancer has changed him in profound ways. It has given him a new perspective on life, on health, and on the importance of early detection. He is now a strong advocate for cancer awareness, using his platform to encourage others to get regular checkups and take their health seriously. Back at AKA Thailand, Mike Swick has resumed his role as the head of the gym. His experience fighting cancer has only deepened his commitment to helping others, and he has implemented new programs at the gym that focus not only on physical training, but on mental health and wellness. For Swick, it's all about balance, teaching fighters how to be warriors in and out of the cage. Swick has also been using his platform to share his story. He has become a frequent guest on podcasts and interviews, where he talks not just about his fighting career, but about the lessons he has learned from battling cancer. It is a story of resilience, of never giving up, and of always fighting for what matters most. He has also been active on social media, connecting with fans and offering words of encouragement to those facing their own struggles. For Swick, it's about giving back, using his journey to inspire others and show them that no matter how tough life gets, you can always keep fighting. Mike Swick's impact on the MMA community is undeniable. As a fighter, he brought speed, skill, and excitement to the Octagon. But it's his life outside of fighting that has left a lasting mark on the sport and its fans. His battle with cancer, his work as a coach and mentor, and his dedication to raising awareness about health issues have made him more than just a fighter, they have made him an inspiration. Fighters across the world look up to Mike, and fans also see him, a fighter who never backs down, no matter the odds. So what is next for Mike Swick? Well, time will tell. But if we have learned anything from his journey, it's that no matter what challenges come his way, he'll meet them with the same determination and resilience he has shown throughout his life, because that is what a true fighter does.